Hello everyone and welcome back to Overwatch 101. This is a series where I help console players get a little bit better at Overwatch. And as I've stated before, this isn't to say that people are bad at Overwatch on console. No, there are really good players on Overwatch console. However, the PC boys obviously are better usually, right? Usually, not all of them, but that's where the pro crowd is, right? That's where the pro scene is, so that obviously speaks to their skill. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take those tips, those tricks, things like that, and I'm trying to give them to you. All right? Now, I might not always get it right, and feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, right? But this is what I've seen pros do. This is what the people who study the game, people like Stylosa, people like Ryan and Miska, right? Like, this is just what these guys do, right? This is what they do, is study the game. They study what the pros do, and I'm trying to pass those tips along to you. All right. Today we're going to be going over attacking Hollywood. Hollywood is another hybrid map, which means we'll be taking the objective and then moving the payload. Alright, there are 3 ways to leave Hollywood. The absolute way I would not recommend is going right out front, right? I see a lot of teams do this, and occasionally you can get away with doing this without taking too much damage. But the defensive team can just attack you from right over there and do quite a bit of damage to you before you've even gotten out of spawn. So I wouldn't recommend going out front, right? I see a lot of teams do it, but it's really not the best. Going left or right can be advantageous because you have a lot of cover here, right? Obviously you want to check these corners because all kinds of like stupid bastions can do mean stuff, right? I mean, obviously it's not going to work out in his favor, but you never know. So you want to check your corners, okay? And then you want to move straight through here and then up here, right? There's a nice big health pack right here. And even though this is technically a high ground, it doesn't really do much for you here because this is such a shallow hallway, right? It's such a narrow, shallow hallway. It doesn't really do much for you here. However, right, if you have a Lucio to speed boost you through, which I would recommend on pretty much every comp is having a Lucio to speed boost, right? Have him boost you through here and immediately around this corner, okay, and then up those stairs. That is the quickest way to get the high ground that you want, which is up there. Okay, going any other way is just kind of beating around the bush, right? You're just going to take a lot of damage and you're just going to take more time off the timer than you really need to. If you had gone out the right, then you could easily go this way, right? Go through here and all that jazz. You could go over here, but once again, you're going to take a lot of damage doing this, and it's going to take a lot of time off the clock because you're that much further from that high ground up there that you want. There is a nice big health pack over here, though. Be aware, if you take a lot of damage, right, if you're in this area, then you could just go over here and get this. Okay, but when you go through, now I've seen pro teams make this work going through here, but this is very dangerous. The only way you can make going through here work is if you go entirely as a team, speed boosted and all healed up and aggressive and ready to go. That's the only way this works, right? Now he's going to try to do that, but he would take a lot of damage doing that and he would die, right? It just depends on how good we are. But if you do take this way, then you have to watch your corners. Look left first, right? Because you have a little bit of cover here where this security sign is, this little bit of wall, right? You have a little bit of cover, so look left first for a threat over there, and then look right for threats immediately over here, okay? But as I said, this is not the optimal route in my opinion. This is a more expert way to go. This is more for experts I've seen use this way. But that, like I said, that comes down to skill, right? They're much more skilled than we are. So this route just isn't great for beginners. It's not great for intermediates. I wouldn't recommend just going through that choke, right? It's a really tight choke. It's way tighter than this one, right? So what I would do is I would go up there, right? Come around up here, and then they can't really do much to you while you're up here. They can't really see you. They can't damage you. The only time they can damage you is when they can first see you coming down through here. But by that time, you're going to be Lucio speed boosting. You're going to be going around. You're going to be going around. You're going to be going around, and boom. Now we're going up the stairs. Now you do have to be aware of threats that are just going to be sitting right here, like a Bastion who's waiting for that. Okay, you do have to be aware of that, but that comes down to your DPS, right? Them dealing with that. But you Lucio speed boost around, you come up these stairs, okay, and then boom. Now we've got high ground, okay? And high ground, as we've stated, is so crucial in this game. High ground wins games the same way ultimates do, right? It gives you the advantage, okay? So taking this high ground is really good because now you can see, right? You can see a threat maybe in there. You can definitely see threats over there. You can see threats over there. You can see threats over there. You can see threats, sorry I fell. You can see threats up there and you can see threats down there. From up there, you can see pretty much everything you need to see. So taking this high ground for this first objective here, right, to grab the payload, I should say, that's the payload for Hollywood. Taking this area is best. This is key, okay? Now, once you take this, okay, then you just have to jump down, right, after you've tried to get your pickoffs, okay? Hopefully you have. Even if you haven't, you still have to jump down and just fight it out, okay? And you have to be aware of threats lurking around back there, lurking around back there, okay? You just have to be aware of those threats. Now, there is another way you can go, and it does have a nice, juicy health pack, but I wouldn't recommend it because it puts you in the low ground, and that's coming around back here. Like I said, big, juicy health pack. This is really nice, but you're in the low ground. And this almost always ends poorly for whoever is in the low ground. Almost always. Because of that right there, and because it doesn't really take too much aggression from them to fight you off down here, because they have the advantage. Right? So they can easily fight you off, get a team wipe, and then that's it, right? So I wouldn't advise coming back here. Maybe as a Sombra, you can come back here and grab this health pack. Maybe a flanker can come around here and do some really nasty, naughty things, and that's great and all. But as an entire team, I would not recommend coming back here, right? You are much, much less advantageous doing this because of the low ground than you would be attacking any other way. All right. Let's say we took that high ground, we came down, we attacked, we won the fight, we took the payload. Now we're going to start moving this payload. Okay, it's going to move along through here, and those doors are going to open up. Okay. Now you do have to be aware of flankers trying to come around right behind using this area. Okay. You have to be aware of flankers trying to go around using that door right here, trying to get around behind you. Usually your flankers, though, have that all stopped up and taken care of. So you usually don't have to worry too much about that. But let's move on, okay? Doors are going to open up. Payload's going to move through, okay? You're immediately going to see aggression right there, okay? If not over there. Now, I wouldn't recommend being over there for defense, but we'll cover that shortly, right? You're going to see a lot of aggression right here or right there. You just have to keep them stalled until you can move the payload, right, into this cover, and then they can no longer shoot you from over there. But if you're seeing aggression here, then you just have to be aggressive as well, right, and fight it off. That's all it takes, okay? You just have to be aggressive and fight it off. Now, one thing you do have to do when you're going through this set for like the old-timey West, right? When you're moving through this set, the number one thing you have to do is call out the high ground threats, right? You have to call that out. If you don't, everyone behind your shield is just going to get slaughtered, okay? You have to call those threats out. Alright, let's keep moving forward. You might see some aggression here. You might see some threats in there, so be watchful there. You are going to see some threats over here, okay? And in that area there, you're going to see something over here, usually. Okay, so be aware. You are going to see threats from above, especially if they've got a sniper. You're going to see all kinds of threats like that, alright? Be aware of that. Now, moving through, okay, you're going to see a lot of aggression right here. This is a pretty tight choke between this wagon and this little trough here. So you're going to see a lot of aggression here. You just have to fight it out, okay? You're going to see sneaky little people, right, who may be set up over here waiting for you because they've got a big health pack here to replenish them. So you're going to have to watch there, okay? You're going to have to watch in the saloon. You're going to have to watch straight ahead in there in their old spawn. You're going to have to watch right there. This is a very dangerous place to be right here in this middle. But you have no choice, right? Because the payload moves through here. So you just have to stick with it. You just have to call out the threats, and you just have to move through, okay? You're going to see some kind of, some kind of threat in the county jail. Almost always, there's like a Bastion hiding in here or Symmetra hiding in here with her stuff, right? You're going to see some kind of threat in here. Now, when you're moving through and you get to this point, they're going to be just pouring out of spawn at that point, right? Which is over there. They usually don't take that way, though. That takes too long. You're mostly going to see it from that door right there. So when you're moving along through here, you do have a little bit of cover from this box and this dumpster. But you are going to want to be aggressive, right? Have someone moving the payload and then have another couple of people over here who do a lot of damage, fighting them off so that you can move that payload, okay? Because you're going to see most of them coming out of there to panic, right? They're panicked. They don't want you to get that checkpoint right there. They don't want that to happen. So they're going to come out flooding out, panicking. They really don't want you to have that. Alright, and you do have to watch over here. There can be some sneaky aggression stuff over here. It just depends, right? Always call out your threats. That's all it takes. Alright, we're moving through here. Those doors are going to open up. and then we move inside. Okay, and inside, as I've said before, is drastically different. Okay, it's played much differently. It's a lot more close to the chest, right? We're all a lot more close to one another. Now, their old spawn is back that way. So when you first come through here, you may see some stragglers, right, who are just spawning in right before you got that checkpoint over here. So when you first come through, you do have to check over there to the right. Even though that's their old spawn, you still want to check over there to the right to make sure that you're not receiving any threats from that direction. Okay? And then you want to immediately start looking to your left and straight ahead, because this is where you're going to see just a little bit of everything, right? You're going to see maybe bastions and snipers and stuff up there in that high ground. You're definitely going to see that. Okay? And you're definitely going to see stuff over there where that big health pack is, right? There's another big health pack right over there. So the defense kind of has the advantage in this area. They've got those big health packs to heal up. Even though it is a low ground for them, they really don't have much of a choice but to fight it out there. They don't want to be this close because this is just too close to spawn. But they do have the nice advantage of having the big health packs. But we just have to be aggressive. We just have to move through. One thing you can do is you can move through here using this cover, right? And then maybe take the enemy by surprise and attack and be aggressive. Let's say you get a team wipe, then you can move the payload, right? And you can move it quite a ways as well because you got a team wipe, right? Now, once we're down here, this is where things get a little rough, right? This is where things get naughty, and this is why, okay? From the back area right here to all the way to their back area over there is pretty much the longest distance in the entire game. Okay, this is like the longest lane in the entire game, which means their snipers can just sit back there and pot shot and pot shot and pot shot and be really dangerous, right? Because it's harder to hit them than it is for them to hit us. So as a Reinhardt and as the team, really, you just have to use the payload as much for cover as you can, all the while moving up and all the while being aggressive, okay? When you move through here, that left and that right are going to be your big aggression things, right? Those are going to be where you see all of your flankers. Another area, before I forget, is up there. You are going to see snipers up there occasionally. They're going to be doing really nasty, naughty things. But that does put them in open space. It does make them easier for soldiers and McCrees and stuff to shoot. So maybe you won't see quite as much of that once you move this close, okay? Of course, you will see it, though, when you're coming around the corner here. They're going to be doing things like that up there. So be aware of that, okay? And the way to get up there as a flanker is to just go up there, up those stairs, and then around there through that door. That's how you get up there, okay? It's very easy to get up to them. It's very easy to dislodge them. You just have to be sneaky, okay? But more about that in other videos. More about that in other flanking videos, okay? Just keep moving as a team, watching your threat areas, right? Watching for the threats. Keep moving as a team, okay? Now right here, teams can get really stalled because this is a choke. This is a wicked choke where a threat could be in that corner, a threat will be in that corner, and a threat could be up there, right? As well as all the area in front of you. So this is a really wicked choke to deal with because of all of the corners, all the flanking routes and such. You just have to call it out, okay? I know I stressed this 1,000 times, but that is truly all it takes. You just have to call out those threats and have your DPS deal with that as quickly as they can so that you can move forward using your aggression to get the objective and win the game. The VIP for How Fred Glitchbot, right? That's who we're moving here. It's kind of an asshole, but I like him. Alright. That's been Hollywood on Attack. Hope you've enjoyed, and I hope that you have good luck in your Hollywood attack endeavors. It can be really difficult to attack Hollywood, especially after you have started moving the payload. But that's alright. You just have to call out the threats. You just have to keep moving as a team and watching your healers' backs, right? And watching your own backs. Things like that, okay? This has been Overwatch 101, signing off.